Cuba accuses the United States Agency for International Development of using taxpayers' money in subversive programs against the Caribbean island. The United Nations Children's Fund denounces the destruction of at least 47 schools in Haiti as part of the offensive of armed groups so far in 2025. And through an audio broadcast at St. Peter's Square in the Vatican City, Pope Francis expressed his gratitude for the prayers offered for his health. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from teleSUR Studios in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Cuba accused the United States Agency for International Development of using taxpayers' money in subversive programs against the Caribbean island. According to Cuba's Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez, the USAID invested more than $120 million to undermine a constitutional order in his country between 2007 and 2013. Rodriguez also said it was unusual for an official development agency to use money to support changes in foreign governments and to enrich those who make profits with the suffering of human beings. U.S. President Donald Trump has recently said that the USAID should be closed, citing alleged acts of corruption within that agency. And in Venezuela, the National Assembly held a debate in rejection of the unilateral coercive measures imposed by the United States against the country. The deputies condemned the U.S. government's sanctions as unjust and criminal, emphasizing that the intention of these actions is to subjugate the Venezuelan people to imperial impositions. Parliamentarians highlighted the historic struggle and resistance of the people to Washington's actions and with a view to the development of the country. In this sense, legislators rejected the support and promotion of the far right within and outside the national territory, as well as the constant attacks against the nation.
The United States evolves in its model of intervention in the fundamental fact of seeing that in Venezuela in 1878 an oil era began and the United States realized that these Indians, these blacks, we had oil.
The President of the National Assembly of Venezuela, Jorge Rodriguez, recalled the words of Commander Hugo Chávez Frías in the framework of the 12 years of his passing.
Chávez no soy yo, dijo. Y lo dijo el primer día.
Chavez is not me, he said, and he said it on the first day of his first speech when he registered his candidacy in the Plaza Diego Ibarra in the city of Caracas. Chavez is no longer me because Chavez is your Venezuelan woman, Chavez is your young Venezuelan, worker, peasant, fisherman, culturist, and by saying that, he was staying with us forever.
Se estaba quedando con nosotros para siempre.
U.S. President Donald Trump announced on Thursday that he would pause the application of tariffs on Mexican imports until April 2nd. Through his social media, Truth Social, Donald Trump affirmed this agreement was reached after a conversation that he had with his Mexican counterpart, Claudia Sheinbaum. Trump assured that he made this decision out of respect for the Mexican leader. Earlier, Sheinbaum confirmed the decision in statements to the press, where she affirmed that Mexico will not be required to pay tariffs on its products within the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement. This deal will last until April 2nd, when Washington will announce reciprocal tariffs for all countries. And for her part, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum took to her social media to address the phone call with the U.S. head of state and expressed many thanks to President Donald Trump. We had an excellent and respectful call in which we agreed that our work and collaboration have yielded unprecedented results within the framework of respect for our sovereignties. We will continue to work together, particularly on migration and security issues, which include reducing the illegal crossing of fentanyl into the United States, as well as weapons into Mexico. As mentioned by President Trump, Mexico will not be required to pay tariffs on all those products within TMEC. This agreement is until April 2nd, when the U.S. will announce reciprocal tariffs for all countries. And later, during her routine morning press conference, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum described her talk with Trump as very respectful and highlighted that she had shown the good results Mexico was delivering in border cooperation.
Entonces, solamente en febrero,
in February alone, the reduction in the seizures of fentanyl on the United States side of the border with Mexico decreased by 41.5%. He did not know this chart until we sent it to him. And, besides, I explained it to him. That what we had decided of sending 10,000 guards to the border to deal with customs checks. Well, it was delivering results.
Chinese Commerce Minister Wang Wentao responded to the U.S. move to impose tariffs on the country, urging the government to take internal actions to tackle the fentanyl issue and ensuring coercion and extortion will not work on the Asian country.
I want to emphasize that the U.S. must respect the facts regarding the fentanyl issue and take proactive actions itself. Simply shifting blame to China will not solve its own problems. Using this as a reason to impose tariffs on China is misleading and distorting the truth. Coercion and extortion will not work on China, and they cannot intimidate China either. China is firm in its resolve to upholding and safeguarding its own interests. As for the unilateral tariffs imposed by the U.S. side, we have already taken necessary response measures in accordance with basic principles governing international law and the relevant laws and regulations. If the U.S. side goes further down this wrong path, we will fight to the end.
We have now our first short break coming up. Remember, you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Migrants deported to Costa Rica denounced physical, psychological, and nutritional mistreatment by U.S. authorities. According to the National Mechanism for the Prevention of Torture, the migrants transported to the Costa Rican capital, San Jose, affirmed they were detained, held, and transferred in shackles during their transfer without any explanation given. In addition, they referred rough treatments from the authorities and accused them of withholding their identity documents and belongings, also complaining of the poor quality of food and accommodations. The United Nations Children's Fund denounces the destruction of at least 47 schools in Haiti as part of the offensive of armed groups so far in 2025. In this regard, the UNICEF representative declared that irregular groups loot educational centers to obtain money through extortion and violence. The report from the multilateral organization indicates that 1 in every 7 children in Haiti does not attend school, and almost 1 million are at risk of dropping out of education due to its limited access, combined with the fear of citizens that children will be recruited by armed groups. And the Colombian Congress continues the debate on the healthcare reform on Thursday with 93.4% of its articles approved. With 101 votes in favor and 21 against, the Colombian legislative body approved Thursday Articles 48, 56, and 57, leaving only 4 articles to be debated. On Wednesday, after more than 7 hours of debate and with the presence of the Ministers of the Interior, Armando Benedetti, and of Health, Guillermo Alfonso Jaramillo, the plenary approved 24 key articles of the reform, including the most controversial ones. And with 3 days ahead of primary and internal elections in Honduras, efforts to guarantee the agility of Sunday's elections are moving forward. So far, 24,858 electoral ballots with their corresponding biometric devices and 8,258 technological kits have been distributed nationwide for the upcoming elections. In addition, the National Electoral Council pointed out that around 5,000 5,741 voting centers will be set up, where polling stations will be installed with their corresponding informative custodians. In this case, the CNE assured that the logistics implemented in these commissions will also guarantee the general elections of November 30th. And in Peru, authorities have declared a state of emergency in several districts due to heavy rains. The state of emergency was declared in 90 districts of 18 regions of the country, including Amazonas, Ancash, Apurimac, Arequipa, and Cusco. Following a meeting at the National Emergency Operations Center, a ministerial group was formed to work 24 hours to address emergencies immediately. In this sense, the authorities urged the population to follow the precautionary measures ordered by civil protection teams. In Ecuador, the death toll of the torrential rains impacting the country has risen to 16 as authorities report at least 77,000 residents affected. The National Secretary of Risk Management briefed that floods, landslides, and mudslides led to the fatalities, also leaving 91 people injured. Furthermore, authorities estimated the weather event caused structural damage in at least 20,400 houses. They further reported loss in agriculture, namely 1,000 hectares of harvest and about 45,000 dead farm animals. The Palestinian resistance movement claimed on Thursday that U.S. President Trump's abiding threats to the Palestinians are upholding Israel's decision on not complying with the ceasefire deal. A senior Palestinian authority confirmed having held a meeting with a special envoy of the White House. The leader further asserted the talks left a positive impression, although Washington has just focused on releasing Israeli hostages, namely those with U.S. citizenship. In this context, White House spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt confirmed that the Trump administration engaged in direct talks with Hamas, saying the discussions aligned with U.S. interests. The encounter, facilitated by Qatari intermediaries, has been the first ever since 1997 and breaks the U.S. rule of not engaging in direct talks with those that Washington labeled as terrorist groups, as is the case of Hamas. Palestinians in Han Yunis shared their views after U.S. President Donald Trump said that the people of Gaza would be dead and face hell unless Israeli hostages are freed.
If Hamas submits to Trump's decisions and threats, it signifies our failure. We must neither comply with him nor fear him.
There is nothing left to weep for. We have been devastated, our homes reduced to rubble, our sons, fathers, and elders lost. There is nothing left to mourn. Trump threatened to turn Gaza into hell, but it has already become one. What more is there left?
Thousands of Syrians rallied Thursday in various parts of the country to reject the new government's policies and denounce that the interim rulers only seek to cling to power. Demonstrators carried out placards demanding the new rulers to leave power due to their incapacity to guarantee the nation's stability. Likewise, in the northwestern city of Latakia, hundreds of residents denounced the country's control by armed groups and rejected the attacks and actions launched by groups affiliated to the new government. Similar demonstrations have also been reported in the western port city of Tartus and in homes near the capital. We have now our second short break coming up. Before we invite you to visit our Facebook page, teleSUR English. There you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverage, and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. Through an audio broadcast at St. Peter's Square in the Vatican City, Pope Francis expressed his gratitude for the prayers offered for his health. The High Pontiff was hospitalized on February 14th, and his evolution has been closely followed by the Catholic communities around the world. The Holy See asked the faithful to continue praying for Francis' speedy recovery while his health conditions remain stable and with no new respiratory crisis. The Pope expressed his gratitude through a message full of faith and hope for all his faithful believers.
I thank you with all my heart for the prayers you make for my health from the square. I accompany you from here. May God bless you and may the Virgin take care of you. Thank you.
After meeting in the United Kingdom, the leaders of the European Union held an emergency meeting to discuss the situation in Ukraine and the rift with the United States. The heads of the bloc and the president of Ukraine are meeting again in Brussels to secure their military defenses and to check that Kiev is properly protected. Less than 48 hours ago, the United States halted all codes and intelligence exchanges and afterwards deactivated the guidance systems for the HIMARS rocket launchers. In view of this situation, the Ukrainian head of state has asked Washington for a new opportunity to talk about peace.
Plan. The ReArm Europe plan provides up to 800 billion euros for defense investment. It gives the member states fiscal space to invest in defense. It gives the member states possibility to invest in the Ukrainian defense industry or to procure military capabilities that go right away to Ukraine. So it is to the benefit of rearming Europe, rearming the European Union, but also arming Ukraine in its existential fight for its sovereignty and territorial integrity.
Of course, the security and defense of Europe is not separated of Ukraine security and defense. A stronger European defense, it boosts Ukrainian defense, and a stronger capacity for Ukraine defense is also very important to boost our own defense.
As the International Women's Day draws near, Russian President Vladimir Putin took the opportunity to meet with representatives of the Defenders of the Fatherland Foundation in Moscow to highlight their work in the field. The foundation represents the state fund in support of those involved in the ongoing special military operation in Ukraine. The Russian president held a meeting at the Unified Support Center with mothers and wives of servicemen participating in the military operation. Putin further stated that women's representation in Russia is of vital importance and that seeing them even engaged in the military area and on the front line should be emphasized, as women represent the motivation in the struggles to achieve any victory.
I see here today also women in military uniform. This means that they are among us, and today at our meeting, all those who are directly involved in the special military operation. Special words of thanks to you, deep respect for your choice. Women in general, even among medical personnel, specialists in other areas of military service and even on the front line, are not so rare.
Zimbabwean Foreign Minister Amon Murwira announced Thursday that his country submitted a formal application to join the BRICS. The Zimbabwean Foreign Minister referred to the conflict in Ukraine, reiterating his country's position in favor of a peaceful solution after a meeting with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov. Murwira expressed that his country expects a consensual response from the members of the bloc after considering that it meets the necessary requirements for membership. The BRICS group is characterized for promoting cooperation among nations with diverse political, economic, and cultural systems, based on principles such as mutual respect and non-intervention in the internal affairs of member countries. Like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.